Hey guys, welcome back to Mini Urban Farm. I'm Veronica and today I'm doing my summer food forest tour. Alright, the last time I had you guys out here with me was in spring earlier this year, and there has been so much going on in the food forest. Tons of stuff has taken massive leaps forward, and I think I've actually planted a few more things, so let's jump right into the tour.
Welcome to Mini Urban Farm, a channel about growing and raising food in the suburbs. If that's your thing, don't forget to subscribe and check out my course on growing tons of organic food in your backyard in only a few hours per week.
Alright, so one of the first things that I want to tell you before we actually go that way to our bananas and our mangoes and all the new fruit trees that I actually planted is I've been doing a ton of work out here in the food forest as kind of like a way to de-stress, because if you guys follow this channel, you know that we recently had a baby. She's 6 months old now, and if you have ever had a baby, being around a newborn and a 6 months old all the time and working from home, it gets a little chaotic. All right, that's why I'm super excited to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform and one that I absolutely love because they're so easy to use. All right, through BetterHelp, you can actually schedule therapy via your phone calls, their messaging platform, online video chat sessions. It is amazing, and I absolutely love that it lets you do that from the comfort of your home or in the garden or wherever it is that you can get cell phone service or Wi-Fi basically. I don't have to go and sit in the office and get a therapy session when you might not even like how it works out with that therapist. All right, I'm a licensed clinician and I can tell you that not every therapist and every client connect. All right, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and sometimes you have to refer out to other therapists for that client, or even myself have had to go find a different therapist that I connect with. But with BetterHelp, it's actually really easy because they connect you with a therapist from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to go anywhere. All right, and let me tell you, with a newborn and with a 6 months old now, 6 months later, I couldn't even imagine taking another trip out of the house that I don't have to. All right, I can barely even get groceries nowadays without having it delivered to the house. So one less trip that I have to make outside of the house is just one easier thing on my plate. Plus, you can manage everything from your phone or your computer, and you even get assigned a therapist within 48 hours usually, which I think is amazing because even just getting somebody to return your phone call, let alone set up an appointment, can take way longer than that if you go for an in-person visit. So if that sounds like something you're interested, check out the link in the description below, betterhelp.com/miniurbanfarm, and you can get a special discount at sign up. All right, let's move on to the video. All right, so we have this big open space, and this is actually at the back of my food forest. All right, if you have watched these videos before, you know that most of the planting I've been doing is that way. Don't mind my tripod there. Is that way towards the house. So all of these guilds over here, kind of like back, you know, on the south end of the property. And then you can see the sprinkler system going, which I'll kind of walk you through how we water the food forest. But we have this banana circle square type thing here, right? With like the compost heap in the middle. You can see I've been doing a ton of composting on the bananas to see if we can get some bananas this year. But the main thing I want to show you guys, the one that has actually like taken tons and tons and tons of growth, or gotten tons of growth I should say, is my mango tree. And just for reference, I'm about 5 feet tall, and I'll insert a clip here of me standing in front of it. And you can see with mangoes, it's especially easy to see the new growth. All of that light green is new growth. And what's funny about it, and not funny, what is amazing about it is that last year's growth stops here. All of this new is this year's growth. And then the bright green is the second flush of growth from this year. So I definitely thought it was gonna stop at that point, but lo and behold, I got a whole another flush of growth. And I'll tell you how. One, we've gotten a lot of rain, but two, I've been coming in here, you can kind of see some of it, these little droppings. I don't know if you can see that, but that is actually rabbit manure. So we got rabbits. I shared with you guys the little bunny hutch that we did, and this mango tree is loving that. All right, the second thing that we have out here is the mulberry. Now, I planted this a while back actually, and I've been fertilizing it with lots of compost, and it's been doing okay. It's kind of stagnant. It had a whole bunch of new growth in spring, but then it kind of stopped, and I don't know, I don't think anything's eating it, so I kind of have to figure out what's going on with that, because mulberries are supposed to be really, really easy to grow, and this one I'm not sure if it's just not getting the right amount of water or what. This little lime bush I put in was getting eaten a whole bunch, but you can see all of this brand new growth here, all that light green growth. That part right there, all of that is like in the last week. That was not there previously. One thing, unfortunately, that is gonna have to come out is this grapefruit. It just is not doing well. The deer were eating it back. I mean, this used to be a massive tree, or not massive, maybe like 4 feet tall. All right, and this, it was doing pretty well. The deer just repeatedly ate it. It does have this tiny little bit of green growth, but it does look like it's coming from the bottom part underneath the grafted portion. So I'll probably end up removing this altogether and plant another ruby red grapefruit in its place that actually is, you know, doing well already. Now, something that is doing really well is my soursop tree. I absolutely love guanabana, and you can see how many new green leaves, right? All of this like waxy, small, like, you know, just really pretty shiny leaves. All of that is brand new foliage. This was, let me see if I can find it. It was about this tall, I think. I'm not sure if you can see the like where it stops being completely green. Probably around there. So it's had, in the last month or two, it's had about a foot of growth, which is, I think, amazing, because I haven't actually fertilized this, but this is my next tree to be fertilized with rabbit manure. Over here is my bee yard, which you can see is not really getting mowed anymore because we've had some issues with the bees, and we're trying to determine if we want to keep them or not. Yeah, I was getting attacked quite a bit, so we've left them alone, and I am slightly allergic to bees, so we'll have to see what we do with that. This is a American hazelnut tree, and you can see something's definitely eating it. So I might have to plant some herbs or something around it, because, or spray maybe some organic like caterpillar stuff, because it's definitely getting eaten by caterpillars. And I mean, this one was one that I was really excited for, so I'm really hoping it does bounce back. About 15 feet away from that is another fig tree, or I say another because I have one in the front, but this is, I think it's a Violet du Bordeaux, and it has some new green growth, you can see. And this was getting eaten quite a bit. I have not fertilized it, right? You can see there's no bunny manure underneath, but I am really excited because the other fig tree I have, which I will show you, which is doing really well, and I have gotten figs off of it, is actually a white fig, and this is a purple fig. So I prefer purple figs, and hopefully this will shoot up this season, or this year rather. I already showed you guys the banana circle. Over here, this thing is my greenhouse, which I'm really excited because it is going away this season. All right, you can see all the like plants and stuff that are in front of it, and I have some ginger that's growing. That's the bright green stuff. Ginger that's growing in that area in ground. So this area will go away, and right behind it is my persimmon tree, which once it goes away will be getting a ton more light. It's kind of just a stick right now, but doing much better than it was previously. So can't wait to get rid of this greenhouse. And if you can see that structure over there, we put in a greenhouse, which I'll be sharing with you guys on one of my upcoming videos, a full tour of, you know, what we did, how we put it together, like all the details, and how we're landscaping it also. But directly in front of me is our loquat tree, which I fertilized with all, oops, there's a dip there. I fertilized with all the bunny poop, and lo and behold, look at this. Guys, if you do not use like organic bunny manure or worm castings or something on your trees, I would encourage you to start. All of this is brand new growth, that change in color. It is absolutely amazing, and it's just been in the last couple of weeks. Now, my Barbados cherry tree actually has a whole bunch of flowers on it and a little cherry. It did have a few cherries that were red, and I did get to eat them, so that was really exciting. But I did fertilize with my JLD fertilizer, and since then it has a whole bunch of little flowers, and I'm hoping that that kind of picks it up, because this is one tree that it continuously flowers, but I never get too much fruit, and I do need to come and prune it, right, because it is whoops, starting to get a little bit more like langy than I like. I don't know if you can see it because it's so like open, but this is one tree that is supposed to be doing really well in this area and kind of isn't. But I can't say it never gets any fruit because I do get cherries off this tree. So if you're in zone 9B, Central Florida, you should be growing Barbados cherry. Now these guys I am leaving all over the property, mainly because they are impossible to get out, but also because they're amazing for the bees, and they are native to this area, which is the saw palmetto. They are quite spiky, but I do like the way they look, so wherever they've chosen to come up, I've kind of left them and eventually will be incorporated into the guilds. This one specifically will be incorporated into my olive guild. This olive tree I've had in a pot for, I want to say, over a year now. And it seems to be picking up more than it was in the past, right? Because it was kind of dying. Now we have a whole bunch of these new little leaves. This is also another one that will be in the next round of fertilizer. What I do basically is like I give it a week, and then whatever fertilizer or bunny honey I get, then I take it and I spread it out on my next round of trees. And this one is one of the ones that's next on the list. So I'm happy with the growth of this. I did prune it back to, it looks like 5 different, like I forgot what they're called, but these limbs. I chopped off the middle part, pruned it back, and then I think I will probably end up taking this little one off the bottom as well once they get bigger, because I don't want like repeating branches and going in the same direction. Now, if you see these flags, right, these are for when we mow. We know not to run things over because I haven't had an issue in the past. Either I forget something's there, or Alan doesn't realize something is a tree and not a weed that's been overgrown. So anything that has a little flag, like these Everglades tomatoes in here, well, here we go, we know not to run over. All right, and these actually have been producing really well, even for this tiny little plant. I have another one that I'll show you in another guild that's actually like sprawling all over the floor. But the plan is one Everglades tomato there. This one not doing nearly as well, but eventually, hopefully, they will take over this entire space and just kind of like run amok under this olive tree. Over here, this is like my banana guild. Like bordering the perimeter of the food forest over here. My potting bench, which I'm going to show you, I'm going to get rid of. And then I'll take you guys over here to this guild. Oh, and before we do, we have to take a little detour. This is my Anna apple. I actually planted this from a bare root cutting that I got at Tractor Supply earlier this year. I'm about 5 feet tall, and this is probably about 4 3/4 of the way there, 4 3/4 feet. So not too bad. It, I think, was, yeah, it was about this tall when we got it. So tiny little stick, and shot up these new branches, and it actually has, I can zoom in here close enough, lots of these new little green leaf things. I think those are leaves. I've never grown apples, but these little like stick-like things, it would appear to me that those are leaves. So very excited. This is one of the only apples that we can grow in this region. That's the Anna apple. All right, so over here, we'll jump into this guild. Now these guilds, as you can see, are a little bit more full, and they're actually guilds. I have my blackberries over there closest to the house, which are those like 2x4s in the ground. This guild in front of me was our very first guild with the pomegranates, which actually has a little flower on it. So I'll show you that. I went ahead and weeded this guild. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. It had a few flowers last season, last year, and they didn't do anything. I can't imagine this is going to turn into a pomegranate just because the tree is still somewhat like leggy. I was trying to train it as a tree, which is why it has this main branch there, but it's constantly putting out suckers from the bottom. And I think I'm just going to let it do that because pomegranate does grow like a bush. And since I've stopped removing the suckers, I've had a lot more new growth, and tree or the bush or whatever seems pretty happy. I just fertilized this also with bunny honey, and now I'm noticing a whole bunch of these little baby leaves. So I'm not gonna say it's completely due to that, because we have had a whole bunch of rain, but I will say, like, it does seem very coincidental that we've had so much new growth on all of the things that I have fertilized. So I went ahead and kind of edged along the best here. Don't judge, because I'm not the greatest at using the mower and weed whacker. My ferns I kind of take out and leave as like a chop and drop kind of thing in the guilds wherever is needed. You can see I weeded, and a lot of like the mint that we have in this bed, and I know people say don't plant mint in ground, but for a food forest I think it's the perfect thing. And like, it's so fragrant right now. Even just like doing this, you guys, I wish you could smell it, because there's just a scent of mint everywhere. We are in summer, so all of this was mint up until very recently, and in summer it gets very, very hot. My mint tends to die back a lot. You can see it's still, like, all of this is mint. It's still doing pretty well, but here I'll show you guys, like, at the bottom parts, the amount, that's actually oregano, but the amount of like dead stuff on the mint plant, all of that, those leaves are dried out. It's just because it's summer, and then it'll come back up. In this guild, so we have the pomegranate, and I wanted to weed this one to show you guys the difference, because I didn't weed the other ones, but I wanted to get at least one weeded. I have pomegranate. I have milkweed in here, which looks like it has some little bug things, or maybe those are flower buds, probably some of both actually. But all of this is milkweed. We got a little guy on here. I have no idea what kind of bug that is, but it's interesting looking, I'll tell you that. So all of this milkweed actually like dies back. You can see these little sticks here, and then it just kind of comes back. Some of it's dead, and then I don't pull it, I just leave it, and yeah, it has reseeded prolifically. I only planted, I think, one of these, and there's like, I don't know if you can see, but there's like these sticks coming up. Those are all milkweed. This is milkweed with some beautiful little flower beds coming up here as well, and there's milkweed everywhere. Like, there's milkweed in the garden paths, there's milkweed in beds that I didn't plant milkweed in. I think this is actually the only place I planted milkweed, and I have milkweed in this garden bed and in that garden bed over there, and I just leave it because it's actually really pretty, and of course perfect for butterflies. So we have milkweed, we have mint, or spearmint, which I already covered. We have blueberries, which are no longer in season here. We did get lots of blueberries off of this. This is a southern high bush variety. These ones did not do nearly as well as the ones over in that bed for whatever reason. I think they're just a different variety, and maybe don't produce as well, honestly. But we have parsley in here as well somewhere. Oh, here we go. Parsley in here, which has been really shaded out up until very recently with the mint. So I expect the parsley, like the little new green in here, will probably end up taking off a little bit. Let's see what else is in this bed. Oh, we have, let me see, some, oh yeah, my giant aloe vera tree, how can I forget? So it is about 4 or 5 years old. It has flowered twice now. It shoots up like this giant red, beautiful flower, or set of flowers, in spring, and it's since died back. We have more milkweed. We actually have some weeds in here as well. And then I have scallions in here, which I had several scallions on that side of the bed over there as well, and they went to seed. So I'm really hoping that we get lots more scallions in this bed. And then we have 2 more things. We have lemon thyme, which I absolutely love for cooking. And it's actually flowered a whole bunch. It's been flowering for like the past month or so, and smells very, very fragrant and has grown quite a bit. This is one of the very first things I put in here. And then our ginger. And the ginger, I actually planted one of the like rhizomes that I got from the harvest in this exact spot a couple months back. I think it was like January or February. I got 4 pounds of ginger in this little spot, and I just planted 1 or 2 back in here, and since then it's really doing well. So I'm expecting to harvest a whole bunch more ginger from this area also this year, probably closer to November or December, which I should have harvested the last one, but I didn't because I was super pregnant. I have sage in here, and all of this is oregano that has gone to flower. All of these are really cute. I've never actually seen oregano go to flower before. This is all actually one plant that I planted from my garden at our previous house, and this entire thing, you guys, like everywhere you see those little flowers, all of this is one oregano plant. It is absolutely massive. It's actually taking over that side as well. So it does a pretty good job in competing with the mint, because the mint is growing right here next to it, and the oregano is still going pretty strong. And of course you can see milkweed popping up in between. So that's this bed. This next bed, I will say, is a hot mess, you guys. I have my lemon, which I gave a hard prune last year, like a really hard prune, and it is doing okay. I have been fertilizing this with lots of JLD fertilizer and a lot of bunny honey, and it has turned much more green. It was quite yellow, so I will say I'm happy with the growth, but I think it's actually getting overwatered. It's right next to our sprinkler there, which is how I water the food forest. I use this one, I connect it to another one back past the banana, and it kind of gets the entire area, but I think this spot in particular is getting very, very heavily watered. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to correct that when we put in our new irrigation system, which it will be in the next, hopefully in the next month or two. Hopefully that will correct the issue and this won't be getting tons of water like it is currently. But also in this bed, if I can get a close up here, is our parsley. And if it doesn't look like parsley to you, it's because parsley is actually biennial and it has gone to seed. This is the second or third year actually that this parsley is in here. The first year it didn't really take that well, and all of this coming out of the bed, and it's kind of got in the way of the lawnmower. Alan didn't realize that's what this was, and I'm really excited to collect parsley seeds because we plant parsley everywhere. All right, and I absolutely love parsley. We cook with it a ton. So yeah, we will be definitely harvesting tons of parsley, and we have another one over here spilling through the walkway. We have a kale plant back there, which has been there for a couple of years now. Hasn't really done too much. That stick looking thing dried up in the middle there is basil. All of those little things on them here are flowers. So I'm definitely expecting that when I clear this out, it is going to, and if I can get in here, it will probably reseed, because there are tons of little basil seeds dropping all over the place. It was completely covered in flowers and seeds, so I'm definitely expecting a lot of basil to pop up. We have some parsley that isn't going to seed yet, and then this thing here, I'll insert a clip of what I was doing with this. This is actually dried up mustard stalks. So there was a giant mustard plant here. I let it go to seed, and I harvested a whole bunch of seeds from it. I was hoping to make mustard, but I'm not sure yet. I might just use it for planting, because I don't know if it's enough to make mustard. But I have been waiting for years to harvest mustard seed. You can see it's all dried up now. And I will be taking those stalks out also when I weed this bed. On the other side of the bed here, we have more milkweed. As you can see, lots of ferns, which I am just going to take and use it as like a chop and drop here. And then somewhere in here, let me see. Oh, actually, my rosemary. Oh my goodness. Somewhere in here behind the ferns, and we have a whole bunch of marigolds, right, which self-seed. So I have only planted one marigold thing, but also my lavender is flowering, which is the very first time I've actually seen it flower. So I'm really excited about that. I did not expect that on this garden tour, or this food forest tour. What I was going to show you is my rosemary plant. It is about 3 feet tall. I planted it from a cutting off my other bush at my old garden, and it's doing pretty well. It would probably do much better if it had more space. So once I clear out some of these giant weeds, that will probably do much better. Back behind this bed is my blueberry bed. It's called my blueberry bed because that's really the main thing in here that's producing. I got a whole bunch of blueberries. As you can see, my mint is doing pretty well, even though this is the dried up version. You guys, the mint was like 3 feet tall recently, and there was actually lemon balm in here. Actually, this is lemon balm, and then there's mint next to it over here, spearmints, and then I have, let me see here, a Florida King peach, which is a bare root tree and is doing okay. I was hoping for a lot more growth on it. I'm hoping that when I fertilize it, then it'll do better, but I don't know, I haven't had the best of luck with bare root trees. So I will come in here and take out all these ferns, all of these weeds, although the mint does do a pretty good job of keeping down the weeds, and all of that is just like dried up mint and pine needles that fall from the tree. And then I have something in this garden bed. There's a volunteer, which is this beautyberry plant. And originally I was going to take it out, but beautyberry is supposed to be somewhat medicinal, and it is very pretty. All right, so I absolutely love the purple flowers. The berries in here turn bright purple. You can eat them, but they don't taste very good. I've tried them, and I don't really plan on making them to like a jam or anything, but I really do like how pretty it is. So I'm gonna leave this, and let's just turn into like a giant mulberry, a giant beautyberry bush tree thing. From here you can also see a better close-up to the greenhouse. We bought the Costco greenhouse. I'll share kind of if I think it's worth it or not in the next video, or in one of my next videos. And then on to our next guilds over here. My moringa guild is really the only thing in here. I'm trying to get it so you can actually see it. This tree is about 12 feet tall right now, and I chopped it back, as you can see here, and it shot up these two branches. I'm hoping to get drumsticks off of it. I have turned it into a powder a couple times and not encapsulated, but like taken it as you would take moringa capsules. This is Mexican heather, which I love. I mean, the bees are constantly on it, and it just has the prettiest purple flowers. I don't think I've ever seen this thing without flowers. So if you want something for your garden that gets pretty large, right? These were actually very small when I planted them, and now they are, I want to say about 2 feet each. There's 3 of them in this bed on this side. They're constantly covered in flowers, and I mean, it's just really nice to have color. The borage here, sorry, so this is, let me see if you can see that. This is borage. So this was doing really well in spring. It is still shooting off some really pretty flowers. Oops, something not spiky, but something pricked me. So those are all flowers. It is, right, like this plant, lettuce plant looking thing that shoots up these stems. And then this one did look like that up until pretty recently, and now it's kind of killed over. But it still has some flowers, so can't complain. And the pollinators do really love it. I had also planted some strawberries in here, which did pretty well. Of course, strawberry season is over here now, so same thing over here. My strawberries are no longer, but hopefully they'll stick around. I got some milkweed going on here. And then this is my fig tree. So this is my Marseille fig tree. It has given me tons of new growth in the past couple months. I did cut it back when it was in dormancy, so trying to think. I cut it to about here somewhere. I'm trying to get it to like grow as in like a really thick tree. I originally wanted it to be 1 central leader. It definitely does not want to do that. I just cut out a whole bunch of stems from the middle, and you can see I fertilized with bunny honey over here. And then this one shut up this year. All of this is from like the past like couple months. So I figured if it wants to grow like a bush, then I'm gonna let it grow sort of like a bush, but sort of like a tree. So I have 3 main stems, and then those branches coming off of each one. The other one will probably give me more branches once I cut it, right? This one was the point where I cut previously. And all of these new little buds, you can see we're definitely under pine trees, pine needles stuck in everything. But this actually connects to my blackberry patch, which is sometimes my strawberry patch in winter. Here in Florida, we get winter strawberries. We have tons of parsley, which is kind of yellow. Again, I think it's getting a lot of water, but each one of these is a blackberry plant. You can see we're nearing the end of the season for this blackberry, or maybe I'm just doing something wrong, I'm not sure, because this one has tons of blackberries on it. We have, in all fairness, gotten tons of blackberries. We have had at least, I want to say, a couple quarts of blackberries. So I'm really happy with this. This is, I think, the Navajo erect blackberry. All of them, I think there's 12 of them. And I do trellis them just so I can keep them upright. I'm really hoping that once I figure out the watering for these with our new system, that I get a lot more growth. But I mean, this cane, let me see. Oop, here we go. You can see this cane is brand new from this season, and it has quite a few of these blackberries on it. They will turn black, and then a couple days after they turn black, I pick them. This is the second year with these, so it has been somewhat of a learning curve, I will say, for the blackberries. Oh, and Milo's coming to visit. Hey, pup. But last year they didn't really do much of anything. This year we did get lots of fruit, so hopefully next year will be better. Underneath the blackberries, I do have tons and tons of parsley. You can see the grass is coming up, but everything like low to the ground is parsley. And we actually have another cane growing up here from this blackberry plant. So I'll probably start trellising, and now that I'm looking at it, I see a few back there as well. So I'll have to come back and start trellising these a little bit better. This one is kind of trellising itself, but would benefit from being propped up here. And of course, some more milkweed. I have planted out, this I did not plant out, the milkweed and this new cane. You can see I've been neglecting it a little bit, but these canes need to be propped up. And then my thyme plants, this is just regular thyme, not lemon thyme like the other one. This one is doing pretty well as well. I just planted that out, I want to say a couple months ago. And then down the line up until the end, that is my blackberry trellis system. Hopefully, like this one is actually doing very, very well. Hopefully, I will get lots more growth and like a lot of bushiness. This one is actually probably the best one. It's quite bushier than the other ones. Of course, I do need to prop it up. But down the line, we have 12 plants total. Now, right next to me is my orange tree. The front part of it is mostly grass. I have some white sweet potato planted in here, but it's kind of hard to spot. Yeah, we have some here, some here. Now you can eat sweet potato leaves, and you can of course eat like the actual sweet potato underground. I planted 4 of them. I think I have maybe 2 or 3 left. I don't know what happened to the other one. The rest of this is grass because I was planning on the sweet potato taking off quite faster, and it did not. But we have sweet potato, oh look, and more milkweed. But we do have sweet potato from the other side of the guild. All of this is kind of spanning from the back side of the guild, and that is regular orange sweet potato. I do have to come and weed this one as well. All of this is orange sweet potato, and my marigolds, which have self-seeded again this year, and they're just really pretty. I cut them off sometimes and use them as like decoration on the plate because I think they're actually edible. I don't eat them, but they're just really pretty for like charcuterie boards and stuff. And then once they're dry, all of these in there are seeds, and then I just scatter them everywhere, and then they come up even if you just leave them. I don't think I scattered anything over here, and they still come up. So over here I have my guava, which is now 6 feet tall or so. So I'm really excited for this. It had flowers on it this year, but it dropped it. It actually had little flowers and fruit, but it dropped it. This one has never fruited, but I'm really hoping that soon it will because it's getting quite tall. I have another aloe vera in there in the back, and then I have seeded mizuna and arugula all over the place in here. I'm trying not to step on it, but I want to get in here and show you guys. The chickens absolutely love coming through here and getting this specific area. Like they just see the dirt and the leafy greens and they go for it. So we've been locking them up quite a bit more so that they don't destroy it, at least until the greens are established. I did plant out ginger. This is just regular ginger. Back there I have shampoo ginger, but this one is like the edible kind of ginger that we cook with. And then I think this is actually a peach tree that has been in the ground for a while, and oh no, an apple tree, another apple tree from last season, and kind of died. This is the original part, the stick here, and then this is coming back up. I'm not sure if I'm really expecting that to do anything. That's sunshine mimosa there, and then sweet alyssum. Some of my sweet potatoes that hadn't made it into the ground yet. And then here we go. I really wanted to show you guys this. I have about 2 or 3 of them in this guild, my Everglades tomatoes. So Everglades tomatoes are supposed to be like prolific in this area. I won't pick that one because it's not ready yet, but you can see it's sprawling and it's gotten quite big, and it has tons of new little flowers on it and new little leaves. So this is something that I'm hoping really does well because the taste is amazing. They're about the size of a blueberry, and they're just like perfect to make little tomato salads with. And I absolutely love tomatoes, so not having a garden right now, but being able to still get tiny little bursts of tomatoes has been really nice. I have another one on the other side. All of this is sweet potato. And then, whoops, yeah, here's the other one. I have, which has another couple of little tomatoes on it. I find that these don't get like as red before they fall off, but they have such an intense flavor, right? They're kind of like this sunshine red orangey color, but they still have quite a punch. All right, so the light is actually starting to disappear out here. It's turning into nighttime. That is everything in the food forest. I will be creating more guilds in this backspace, right? One, because it's less stuff to mow, definitely more weeding, but less stuff to mow. And of course, I want to plant more stuff like everyone does. And I want to be able to have a lot more food, but I want to get the watering system under control here. So we have our sprinklers, which are connected. We have two like tripod sprinkler things. What I'm going to do is, now that we have spigots in the garden, all right, which is a huge improvement on our space, I am going to connect like PVC tubing to little like sprinkler head tops, not the ones that go into the ground, but like just up in the air, and have those around the food forest so that everything is getting watered consistently. Because right now, the things closest to the sprinkler obviously are getting watered the most, and then like on the outskirts, not so much. And what I want to do is be able to plant along the fence line, like passion fruit and vining things. And then also I want to plant bushes, kind of separating the driveway from the food forest. So in order to do that, we need more consistent and even watering. That is going to be one of our very next projects. So we can finally have some irrigation, proper irrigation, not like makeshift irrigation in the food forest. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think or anything that you recommend that we also consider growing here in Zone 9B, something that's not on the list. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.